Okay, so let's say we've worked through the technical aspects and you and your coach have decided, hey, we're where we need to be. Our technical aspects are good enough for our goals. So now we're going to treat practice as much as we can like the golf course, right? So a word that Rob likes to use a lot is representative. We need the practice tee to be representative of the golf course. So I'm going to have Rob talk kind of a little bit about that too.
So one of my favorite analogies is if you've learned to drive, imagine if the only environment you learned to drive in was a parking lot. What would happen the first time I threw you out into a busy interstate? Disaster, right? So what we need to do is start to make that parking lot look and feel incrementally more like the highway or the interstate, so that we have a better chance of accessing the skills that we've built when it matters. So I'd like to hear Hunter's feedback on this as well, but one of the biggest things that I see that is absent in the practice environment is consequences.
Yeah.
Right? Not having any sort of consequence as far as where is the ball ending up is a huge thing that gets added when you go play.
Sure. So I mean, something I like doing with my students all the time is, hey, let's actually play the golf course in our minds on the range, right? So maybe we take out a drive and we pick a fairway between two objects on the practice tee, and we're going to say, okay, there has got to be some sort of consequence. So let's say that there is a water to the right. So water right, if I hit it in the water, there has to be some sort of consequence. If that were to happen, the next shot is going to make it more difficult, right? So let's say we hit that shot and we happen to hit it in the water. Maybe the next one, maybe the consequence is time. Maybe we have to wait 3 more minutes. That would drive me crazy if I'm on the range, having to wait 3 minutes to hit a golf shot when I know I just messed up the last one, right? So maybe that's a consequence. Maybe you have to make yourself hit out of a divot. Maybe you have to make yourself hit your least favorite club. Whatever it is, create some sort of consequence for when you're trying to accomplish a task that it's going to make it matter more. And that's more representative of the golf course.
Exactly. It's all about, I think one of the more common themes with Train to Perform is you have to do things voluntarily that make you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's hard, it's so easy just to get into our comfort zone of doing what we love to do, what we're good at. But when you think about all the factors that we see on the golf course, it's not always comfortable. So you have to do things to voluntarily push you to your comfort zone a little bit. And what I would say, especially for performers that are competing in tournaments, the best practice facility is the golf course.
Sure.
When you think about it, it's perfect representativeness. It's got the exact amount of spacing you're going to see when you go play. It's got the exact variability you'll see when you go play. You've got consequences. Now, I would argue that some, even on those practice rounds on the course, you don't quite have those consequences. So with your buddies, create a consequence. Do something just to make it a little bit more uncomfortable. Again, a lot easier said than done, but it's going to make a huge impact on your ability to take your best skills out to the course when it matters the most.
Absolutely. So a scenario like that I like doing is like playing worst ball.
There you go. Perfect.
I think it's a great thing to do. So in other words, you play 2 balls and you actually have to take your worst ball. That's making golf way harder than it normally is, right? So it's something you can try out there to actually make that practice, even though you're playing, more representative or better than normal.
But what that's doing is it's almost like going and saying, okay, I'm going to learn to drive in the middle of New York City.
Yeah.
What's going to happen when you come back to Charlottesville and have to drive on the highway? It's going to be a breeze.
Sure.
Right? That's where we're in our best performance mindset, when we are calm, we are collected, we're able to think, our breathing rate kind of goes down a little bit. We're not as hyperactive in the environment to where now we can think about what we're doing as best we can.
Yeah, get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
There you
right?
go.
That's always the saying for that, for sure. So try those things again, and hopefully if you can make your practice like play, we're going to get better when we go to the course. So